Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the lights that lead us there are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. Because maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonder wall.
One small step for man, one giant leap for he, she, they kind. That's exactly what President Biden would say right now if we landed on the moon. What's up, Josh? What's up, Dusty? How are you guys doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
What up?
I'm good, dude. I'm stoked about Thanksgiving. I'm stoked to have 4 days off. I know you don't get that, Dusty. You just get tomorrow off, and then you're back at it Friday and Saturday, right?
Yes, sir. Right back at it.
What about you, Josh?
We did our Thanksgiving like last Sunday at my in-laws, so I don't think we're really doing much. Plus, we got sick kiddos, so
Oh, that's no
hanging
fun.
out, I guess. I
Freaking
go work Friday or something.
okay.
What have they got, Josh? It's not RSV stuff, is it?
No, I don't know. Like they both. Well, they're not all sick; just two of them are, and they had like ear infections, and they got on antibiotics, and everything went away, and then came back. So I don't know, same crap or what.
No, that sucks.
I
Like
know.
James was saying last podcast, it's like a nonstop.
That
Yeah.
Especially when you got little things.
You and him both have 4 kids, so like if one of them's not sick, the other one is, and then once they're healed up, the other one is. That sucks.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going around, but it seems to be getting a lot of us. I'm finally feeling better. Josh, you haven't been sick though, huh? This whole time?
Oh, just small stuff off and on, but
Sounds like
Not in
you've
a while
been
now.
taking your vitamins, young man.
Yeah, it does.
no, I need to.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't
I have-
we all?
I bought this big old vitamin C 1,000 milligram pack at Costco, and I'll just chew at least like 6 of them a day. Just get them down the hatch. Hopefully it stops. Oh, dude, a grip. My boss takes 1,200. He's the one who told me. He's like, yeah, once I started chewing down on these every day, I stopped getting sick. So I don't know. I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah. I mean,
I prefer just to get my jabby jab and eat some Krispy Kreme. Something.
no. You got to eat the burger and fries that comes with it first, and then you have the Krispy Kreme donut afterwards.
Yeah. Well, how
And
gnarly?
I'm pretty sure somebody was offering a free milkshake too. You got it as well, so that could be your dessert on top of the Krispy Kreme.
I didn't win the $1 million though. That sucks.
Was there a raffle out there
Some
for
states
$1 million to get the
Yeah.
shot?
In the state of Ohio.
Some states were doing
State of Ohio, for sure. I know that.
You got into a raffle.
Just think about that.
Yeah.
Let's just, take all the bullshit aside. It doesn't matter. If you got it, hey, your choice. The greatest power next to love is the power of choice. So, but just think about it as a rational human being. when they came out and they started saying, yeah, you get a free donut from Krispy Kreme. What was it? I don't think it was a donut a day, but maybe like something like once a month or something for a year. I don't know. It's like I had conversations with people like, are we not balancing this? A 600 fucking calorie donut for something that's going to save your life. But it's not just one, you get multiple. Like,
It does.
what are we doing? What are we talking about? I don't know.
Every time I'd hear like an enticement like that, like for instance, I don't know if I could say this actually because I might get in trouble, but
Just don't put it on YouTube.
there was something at that's true. Okay, yeah, I'll bleep it out. So at they basically said we have and you have to have 16 hours a year. And if you got 8 hours of training, and like they're super anal about this training. They're like, but if you get we'll give you 8 hours. I'm gonna have to bleep all that out. But.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that out there.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's bonkers.
Yeah. So that and they were just everybody was
better start the pod over.
No, I got ways I can edit it. I'll just go and put doorbell. Huh? But yeah, no.
So starting out with the bang, kick off YouTube right off the way.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we did it at the beginning because it's going to be easier for me to find. I'll be like, all right, in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I can edit it though. Like I said, I put like doorbells on it. But yeah, I don't know how far into this whole moon stuff I'm gonna go. This will probably be like the last podcast that I talk about it, but it's been a relevant topic on my last 2 podcasts. Actually, probably like 4. But me and Josh, we have a text thread, listeners, between me, Josh, and Dusty, where we send each other videos all the time about flat Earth, not going to the moon, all this stuff. And I don't know if you guys saw, but Elon Musk sent up another rocket yesterday. I don't know. That shit's really interesting to me. I don't know where the fuck it goes because I don't think it goes to space. It seems to go, and then all right, he launched one. But I have some videos I could play right away. Me and Josh, we just took a long time. Well, I took a long time trying to get it all set up, but we'll just get it out of the way right now because I know all 3 of us don't think we went to the moon. So I'm gonna show you this video, Dusty, because I know you haven't seen it. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Reasonably admit that they could lie about anything.
You're playing with the sound, dog.
Check that out, Dusty. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
How did they get the footage of the? How did they get the footage of this little, whatever the fuck it is, flying through space? This is that real footage, Josh? Supposedly.
It's supposed to be. I mean, I don't care how they supposedly got it. It's just laughable looking at it.
And then this is taken off from the moon.
And watch this. I mean, this is all you need to debunk the moon landing. Just watch it.
Yeah, so James was saying in the last podcast that they had a camera that they left there, right?
It's this.
Yeah.
Controlling it from Houston.
All right, so now listen to this real quick for what they say about it.
Go to the moon in a nanosecond.
So this is the head director of NASA, like the Fauci. He's saying, I go to the moon in a nanosecond, and then listen.
The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
How dumb do you have to be to believe that? But here's a picture of the actual lunar lander from Apollo 11. This supposed advanced spaceship, which was never even allegedly flown on Earth, looks like a ridiculously constructed movie prop, and yet it supposedly achieved speeds of 4,000 miles per hour on descent and ascent, left no blast crater with a 10,000-pound thruster, and could sustain life for up to 3 days on the moon in the worst environment imaginable while undergoing multiple repressurizations. And it even had enough room to throw in a fold-up dune buggy on later flights. Does that really look like it can fly 4,000 miles per hour?
No.
I guess you see an advanced spaceship while we flat earthers see a ridiculous, homeless tweaker shelter surrounded by outdated 1960s graphics that look ridiculous. But there's so much more to the fakery. For example, you can see the wires on the astronauts, and people still believe in this. Just open your eyes and look at the obvious movie backdrop lines that you can see everywhere in the Apollo photos and videos. Just look at the vertical backdrop right behind the wire-dangling astronauts. 50 years since man was last on the moon. Astronauts dangling from wires, movie backdrops, and silly-looking movie props. That pretty much ends the Apollo foolishness for me. And I would think any...
What are you guys' thoughts on?
Man,
It's just laughable looking at it to me, but
It's pretty silly.
yeah, that's
It's
man.
just, boys, it's just weird. That's all I'm saying. Anybody listening, Lane, James, if you guys are listening, it's just weird. And then you go, you take a look at the stars right now, anybody outside, if you're driving, if you're walking or whatever, if you're just chilling and you have the opportunity to go out and look at the moon right now, that's insane that we went there.
No, hold on, Drew. I think you're kind of burying the lead.
All right, what's the lead?
It's a two-parter. First, the dude said, we'd like to go back in the nanosecond, but we destroyed the technology. The first humans to land on the moon, such an achievement, right?
Right.
That rah thing I was talking about a couple pods ago. And you destroy it. So explain that. Why did you destroy it? Were you afraid of it getting in terrorist hands or some shit? There's gonna be an Al-Qaeda flag up there or something. Secondly, the date on that, December 14th, 1972, and I've asked this multiple times. If you didn't destroy it, because I don't think you did destroy it if you had that technology, why have we not been back yet? Why haven't we tried to create the technology to get back yet?
Supposedly we are going back. That's what everybody who believes we went says to me. So I'll believe it when I see it, if that time comes.
Yeah, I get it. I get like listening to everybody else's viewpoint. I get it. Some people got the shot, some didn't. That's just the way
Right.
the world is.
Right.
There's multiple personalities, different things you want to believe in or you can. I'm just saying, as a rational person thinking about this certain topic, something just doesn't. It just stinks. Just stinks. Like, come on, man. What are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? If there'd been a mission or two between that date and where we are now, where men actually, or women, for those of you out there, sorry, actually stood foot on the surface of the moon again, there's no conversation to be had.
He, she, theys.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
You know what I mean? There'd be no conversation to be had. It'd be like, well, you remember that time in 1985? When fucking Roy was up there with Lucy or Lucinda, and they did this one thing. They'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But no, it's 1972. 8-track players are still in cars. Like, what are we talking about?
yeah, we would have the first woman, first gay, first trans, first furry.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have no
I asked the guy at work. I was like, today? I was like, you think we went to the moon?
me.
And he's like, yeah, of course we did. And then he's like, China's been to the moon, Russia's been to the moon. I've never heard of any of that.
Well, I think
I don't
they have. They've put rovers and stuff. I would say.
Mhm.
I mean, that's
No,
what China
they
did.
supposedly sent probes to the moon.
Yeah, probes.
The fuck is a probe?
You tell me. They probably destroyed
Like
the
a-
technology, so they can't. explain it.
Man.
Vehicles?
Yeah, I'm not talking about like unmanned shit. Okay, let's just assume that it is what they say it is. Okay, all of it. Part of me still thinks that. Part of me doesn't. But the fact that human has not set foot since that date, I'm sorry. Conversation ends right there. You can't explain that. You just can't explain it. There's no reason we haven't been back since that time. There's none. It ain't money. It's not technology. Look what the fuck we're doing right now. It's not technology. No chance in hell. There's just there's something else going on.
It's weird too. Like even when you like go back and like listen to me and Lane's conversation about did we go to the moon or not, and like even being a host of a podcast talking about it, you hit this wall of ridiculousness, and you kind of pitter off of just like it's hard to keep the conversation engaged talking about going to the moon, because everybody's just like, you hit this wall and you hit this like and then the conversation dies and nobody really cares, and they're like, yeah, of course we went. Or you got guys like us like, I don't think we did. Like, it seems impossible. Like I said, when you go outside and you just take a look at the moon and you rationally look at it and you say to yourself, we actually went there. You know, they made a phone call to the president. I have that if you guys want me to play it, the phone call. It's
Yeah,
like
let's
a
hear
minute
that.
long. I'll show you. But yeah, they make a phone call to the president. Hold on one second. And it's just like super interesting. So this is the phone call from President Nixon to Buzz Aldrin and the other homie.
The President of the United States now, and would like to say a few words to you. Over. That would be an honor. Go ahead, Mr. President. This is Houston out. Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. And this certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made. Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world. And as you talk to us from the Sea of Tranquility, it inspires us to redouble our efforts to bring peace and tranquility to Earth. For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth are truly one. One in their pride in what you have done, and one in our prayers that you will return safely to Earth. Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor and privilege for us to be here representing not only the United States, but men of peace of all nations, and with interest and a curiosity and with a vision for the future. Honor for us to be able to participate here today.
Funny how the moon looks too. Driving, like, or whatever, flying, you just have the moon. They don't have the actual like picture of Earth. I don't know. It's all just suspect. It's all
Notice how there was no delay in between.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Josh. I'm glad you said that.
They do like, well, most of the time they wait like 8 seconds instant, almost like it was recorded or whatever. To me, all of it's just laughable. I can't even look at it seriously.
Yeah, I mean, even right now, you're a little
Like
laggy.
anybody with an open mind that looks at it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Even right now, Josh is
That's been pretty
frozen.
laggy on my side.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and we have a perfect 2022 connection, but somehow sitting on the moon, you can have a decent conversation. So I just call it bullshit. But we can move away from it, or we can keep talking about it. It's whatever you guys want to do.
I mean, people are going to believe what they want to believe.
Right. At this
You're
point,
not going to change. You're not going to change anything. I mean,
No.
it's just like the jab, the shit we just went through.
I would say if we sparked anybody's curiosity, there's well done documentaries on it. That if you can watch them and then come away still thinking we went to the moon, then my hat tips to you.
Yeah.
And
But-
we can just agree to disagree.
Of course, everybody can have their opinion. Yeah, I used to just love the idea of space, man. Loved it. Ad Astra, freaking Interstellar. I'd watch those movies and just freaking. Honestly, they were my favorite movies. I would sit there and it's just a curiosity of mine that nobody has itched. Like everybody, you can have itches your whole life, you know about love, and then you find your girl and you fall in love. You can have an itch of like, oh, I wonder what it's like to have a buzz from a beer, and you drink a beer and you can figure it out. You can itch it. The space thing you can't itch, and it's always been an itch of mine. And so to finally dive into documents and videos of people talking about going to the moon, and I always thought we did. I was like, of course we did. We're travelers. We're people who discover things, and so yeah, I always thought somehow we did. And then now I'm just, after studying it, I'm like, fuck, I don't think we did. It seems really set up, really staged, really political for the times. They decided, hey, we're done going back. Buzz Aldrin said, because of me, all this, like, I just don't really believe much of any of it anymore.
But to piggyback on that, it's like you said, Drew, it's like they got to the point, all right, we did it, we got there. Okay, leave it at that, right? No, they went a step further. They destroyed the technology. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not archive that or anything for future reference, you know. Nah.
They needed the storage for other things.
Yeah.
So they recorded over it.
I'm sure they had some fucking killer ass games they had to play on, you know, all that technology back then where their space was getting filled up and they had to get rid of some room. You're right, Josh. I think you're right. That makes sense. Yeah. That's the only thing I'm getting to is like, yeah, no, we can beat this like beating a dead horse. It doesn't matter, but I think it does if you're willing to actually look at it through a different lens, like a different perspective. Like, yeah, I was in the same boat, Drew. I thought we went, you know, that raw feeling like, yeah, we're the only fuckers that ever went to the moon. Like, go USA. Then you like step back and, you know, as you get older, you're like, you start seeing shit like that. And you're like, huh? And then it's lost to you when the dude says they destroyed the technology. Like, what? No. Think of the greatest thing you've ever done. Just think of the greatest thing you've ever done. You created a great memory. Like if you're a collector, you know, if it's has some kind of symbolism to you, you're going to cherish that. You're going to put that in a throne somewhere, like in a hall, like the Hall of Fame. What's the first thing you would think of? You'd do something like that. It wouldn't be, oh, we're going to destroy the technology. Just to have the balls to say something like that on national television. No, I'm selling it. I'm selling
They don't
100%.
they don't extend either what he said after that. He said we destroyed the technology but we're going to go to Mars. That's what he says right after that.
Yeah.
But to change the conversation up, I don't watch any World Cup soccer. I barely watch any NFL. I don't watch any NBA. I barely watch any sports. Like, I watch the UFC because the UFC kicks ass, and I think Dana White runs that ship really well. But what do you guys know about this World Cup? Where's it being hosted at? Do you guys know?
Qatar.
Okay. And didn't they say, first of all, why would they host it at Qatar? Like, didn't they like warn them, like, hey, you better not be holding hands with girls or drinking alcohol or no gay stuff? Like, they're super. First of all, who would want to go to that place?
To be honest, I don't know where the fuck it's at.
Let me look up where it's at. I don't know where it's at either, and I really don't care.
Are you referring to like what happened with the I guess they did the slogan thing or whatever for the LGBTQ plus? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and like there was just a bunch of controversy. I don't.
Well, this is what I heard. So the Iranians were singing the national anthem during the ceremony. I guess it's kind of like the Olympics. Like each country gets to sing their national anthem. Well, I guess the Iranian team decided not to because recently there was protests in Iran. About 400 people were killed because they were protesting the death of some 20-some-year-old
girl
or something. Yeah.
It's because she wasn't wearing her little headpiece.
Is that okay? So then a lot of the captains of all the countries representing decided to go ahead and wear these armbands, trying to declare their support for inclusivity and something else, right? So all the captains made this decision, and then right before the start of the World Cup, FIFA came out and said, no, you can't wear that. If you wear that, you get a yellow card. Now, I don't know shit about soccer, but the way it was explained is like a yellow card is like a warning in basketball, right? It's like or in football, if you personal foul, misconduct, like the next one's ejection. So like if they wore that ribbon, they got the yellow flag and they played and they tripped somebody in soccer, they're ejected from the game. So all these countries took the support of this movement, and then FIFA stepped in and said, no, we're not doing that. And now the question was, why did FIFA say that? Well, because the country of Qatar they don't
play that game.
They don't play that. So, and then on top of it, they decided several days before the kick that there'd be no alcohol sale inside the stadiums. So it just sounds like it was a well-organized machine.
Yeah, Brent showed me a picture of like the Budweiser warehouse, and they said that they would the alcohol.
They said what?
It was like this warehouse full of beer, and they said that they would give it to the winning team or whatever.
Yeah,
mocking that they can't be drinking of it.
Yeah, to the winning country. I did hear that. Yeah, it's a shit ton of beer.
No, that's a shit ton of beer. That'd be motivation to win for sure.
But I think.
Am I lagging that bad?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's all good though.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all good.
I think the lesson of that is, like it's a movement that's taking place, right? And they don't take in consideration that other cultures they don't go by that. It's like it's almost just more like a virtue signal. That's the definition of it. I'm not saying I'm on one side or the other. Like, I love almost everybody I meet. I give everybody a chance. But it just seems like they didn't really do their homework on this deal because it really backfired and it pissed a lot of fans off. And you always hear those stories about soccer games where fans are just crazy,
Oh yeah.
like the craziest fan base of any sport in the world. And I'd like to know what it's like in the atmosphere. If it's like football, people just get shit faced in the parking lot tailgating and then go in the stadium. So I wonder if that's what they're doing there at the World Cup.
Yeah, Manchester back in the day, I don't know when it was, but like they had a game and they let a lot of people in the stadium, and what had happened was too many people flooded into this one section of the stadium, and it crushed like I can't remember, but like maybe like 40 people against the fence. And there's pictures online you could see, kind of like what happened in Korea, where those people got squished. The same exact thing. Like the World Cup is supposedly like a big deal. Like I said, I don't give a shit because I like soccer. I like playing it. I had a good time playing it as a kid. My brother's really good at it. I think it's a cool sport. But just like baseball, NBA, soccer, I just don't care. Once you start watching these things, then you watch all the commercials, you realize like for instance, Pfizer has a commercial now where they're like, if you get COVID-19, check it out. Just take this pill. We have a thing for COVID-19. I'm like, yeah, it's called whatever. Probably all the stuff everybody was preaching about. Yeah. Everything Joe Rogan said, like monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, hydrochloroquine. Like they had the pill all along, and now they got
medical
selling
misinformation.
Yep. Now it's not, Josh, because now Pfizer has a pill, and so it's at the forefront of every commercial. So back to Clowntown, but if people aren't awake by now, that's on you, in my opinion. Like if you're not awake to the World Economic Forum, if you're not awake to the idea of COVID being, if it wasn't planned, then guess what? They used it very cynically to promote an agenda that they wanted. And so plan or not, they still used it in a way to control. And that to me is the cynical part of it. And that to me is the part of it that I'm never going to stand behind. That's why I will not wear a mask. I will not get a shot. I will not comply. It's just, it is what it is. And us Americans should all have that view. Because if you don't, the grip of communism, the grip of WEF will just come squeezing down even harder. And I just say don't. Yeah, we've all been that way though. I have no reason to preach to Dusty or Josh. They've all felt the same way I have. And I'm sure my listeners are the same way. But hey, if you want to go get 1,000 shots, go for it. That's your prerogative.
That's the beauty of this life, man.
Hell yeah, choice, free will.
Greatest power next to love is the power of choice.
Amen to that. You know who doesn't have the power of choice? Let me show you guys real quick. These guys right here. Oh, damn. I never stopped sharing. Okay. Anyways.
No, you did.
Okay.
Well, that we could see anyway.
Yeah,
I bet you.
See nothing.
Okay.
Is it better now that I turned my camera off?
Yeah. You sound.
It really is.
You sound a lot better, dude.
So try that.
Josh, we just can't have your good looks on this.
Yeah, dude.
Your
fans are gonna miss out, but
we are gonna have to destroy the technology after this episode. Okay?
Yes.
Destroy it, Drew.
I'm on the dark side of the moon, boys.
Can you see this, guys? This screen?
Is this what you were telling me about earlier?
So for anybody listening, I'm about to play a video, and if you're watching, this video is basically a concentration camp in China. Oh, I forget the name of it, the city, but they got a whole bunch of Muslim Uyghurs here. It's all, even foreigners. It's all for COVID-19. Look at this shit. Look at all this.
That's for COVID-19.
COVID-19. This badass NBA player just posted it today. I forget his name. Eanes Freedom, or maybe that's not his name, but
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
he's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's not the name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, all these people getting pushed in with their suitcases.
Well, at least they put it on ground level so they didn't have to put up nets for them to
Jump
be able
off.
to jump out and commit suicide.
Look at that, little prison shacks. The COVID quarantine camps house located in XINIJNG region. I forget, Xinjiang? I don't know. Many Chinese citizens and foreigners who test positive for COVID-19.
Look at that person in that fucking suit.
Right? That looks like me a couple posts ago. You guys remember that? Until President Biden let me know, hey, pandemic's over. Clearly it's not over in China. This is what communism looks like, people. This is what the left, if you're a Democrat and you're like, dang, these far left-leaning psychos are ruining my party. Yeah, this is where it's going. Socialism, communism. It's just a European communism in its own way. But check this out. Here's another one. Can you see this? Can you see that or no?
Oh, you're back on the screen.
Okay. Now watch this. I'll share this one. This one, guys. So basically, they're running out of food there as well. And this is all they have to eat.
没人管我们出路从哪来，真连饭都吃不起了，现在只能吃狗粮了。
What is it?
Dog food. Yeah, they're at a point now where they have nothing to eat except for dog food. A funny story. My dad used to take his camera to the loony bin home in Haviland. Josh, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
It's off Main Street. He actually has some DVDs of it. It's pretty funny. So my dad was cool. He had a big heart, and he'd go in and he'd talk to all these people who, had mental illness and all that stuff, and their families kind of gave them up to the whatever. I don't mean to sound rude, but the loony bin is what we called it because they were crazy. Like they had something wrong, and whether it was schizophrenia, bipolarness, I'm not sure what, but my dad would take me, and he introduced me to this one guy who could drum his ass off, dude. Like my dad would take him to the church and be like, here, buddy, you can drum now. And because the guy used to play in a band, maybe he did too much acid. I'm not sure what he did, but the guy would be like, and he was a damn good drum player. And then my dad would film him and be like, yeah, man, good job. And then there was one guy who thought he was going to be the next president. So my dad's like, all right, Larry, here's your campaign. And the guy would talk like, hello, America. It was great. And
hey, hold on. What was his platform? What was he pushing?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know, man. But I'll try to find the videos. My brother has them. They're great. Then another.
Are you sure he's not our president?
You
know what? I think he made his way there, dude.
He just changed his name. I forgot what his name was.
That's hilarious. And then the other guy, my dad would buy. My dad would buy a little bag of dog food, and we would go, and my dad would be like, "This guy really likes this brand of dog food. I'm not sure why," and he asked me to get it, and sure enough, dude would freaking open it up like popcorn and eat dog food. So I was introduced at a young age to some crazy mental instability, but at the same time, they were great people. All of them were great people, and I really respect my dad for just being a guy who would talk to him. It's something I respect a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So hold on.
Shout out to Rick.
Yeah.
We're missing some context there.
Yeah. All right, keep going.
We're missing some context. You said the Looney Bin, right? In
Yes.
Haviland,
Yes.
and it's off of Main Street.
Right when you come off the railroad tracks and you hit Main Street, there's one block with a coffee shop to the right, and then there's a clock, like the bank clock, that
Yeah.
tells you the time and the temperature. And straight on the opposite side of the street, there's this long building, and that's it. I don't know what it's called, but we called it the Looney Bin when we were young.
I'm just saying it's comical that of all the places they can put it,
Put it right on Main
off-
Street.
right off fucking Main Street. Like,
Yeah.
huh? And
Yeah.
I say that because I grew up in Larned.
Yeah. There's a lot
So,
of big Looney
Hey,
Bin
it's
Larned.
State Hospital. State
Yeah.
Hospital. But it sits about a quarter mile or half a mile out on the west side of town. So anytime we go anywhere, like people are like, hey, where are you from? And I'll be like, Larned. And they'd be like, where's that? And I'd be like, State Hospital. And they'd be, oh, that place. And I'd look at them like, yeah. And I'd lean in. I'm like, they let me go 10 years ago on good behavior.
Yeah.
I would always do it.
That's funny.
It wouldn't catch people off
Dude,
guard.
some of
Every
those
once
people
in a
would
while.
wander off the Shire, and like some of them be wandering through the boys' dorm at Barclay, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
one
let's
of them
not
walked
put
in
it
front of a
the middle
train.
fucking
That
town.
was a bad day.
That's an urban legend, right, Josh? Or is that true?
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive it happened.
Yeah, there was like a train that runs like probably a block and a half away from the Looney Bin, and I guess one of them took off. And this is what I heard. This is the urban legend of it, is that they walked the tracks and the train was coming and they stayed on the tracks. Yeah. But
One-way ticket.
yeah, I'll have to ask some people from there if that's true or not. How big is that hospital, that state hospital in Larned?
Oh, it's massive. It's like its own little town. I actually worked at the prison out there. There's they get grades and shit. But it's like a mental facility, and then there's an actual prison next to it, and then there's a juvenile center next to that too. So like all that combined, it employs shit. I bet it's 400 plus people, maybe more. It's literally.
I thought
like
they
a little town.
shut part of it down, didn't they?
Well, they've had a lot of issues. A lot of issues. I know that. They may have shut down part of the mental side of it and sent it somewhere else in Kansas. Yeah, it's.
Don't you have a story? Don't you have a story of you like you volunteered at the prison in Hutch and like you played basketball with like a murderer?
No, I was a. So before I got my job that I have now,
Okay.
I was working at my father's feedlot, and it was kind of like a waiting period. So wanted to do something else. So I got a job as an activity therapist at the prison. Basically a glorified PE teacher. That's all I was. I wear the fucking suit or the slacks, polo shirt tucked in, dress shoes. The idea of an activity therapist is, these prisoners, I think we only had 12 that were max security. So like 12 of the bad people, I guess you call them that, based on their sentence and their crime. And then the rest were kind of like medicated people. So the job itself, you walk in this room and there's an office area, like 6 cubicles, because there's 6 of us working in there. But this whole like enclosed area was that office space, 3 or 4 classrooms, a community room, and there was a whole entire gymnasium. And then there was outdoor access to like call it the playground or whatever. So I had to do a bunch of training for it. And I didn't know what I was getting into. Like I was making $13.62 an hour. Like, you're gonna pay me how much to do what? Yeah, okay, I'll do it. So I get in this job, and like my first day was one of the most eye-opening experiences of my entire life. So we walk in, and there's one guard permitted to this activity area. Let's just call it that. And I'll never forget this. At one point in time, from like 9 a.m. to 11, there's like 40 inmates in here. And then it's us 6 activity therapists, and then 1 security guard. So the first day I walk in, the security guard was a lady in her late 50s, early 60s, right? So we're walking in, you know, they're introducing me to my cubicle. I got my computer. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, they're telling me what we're going to do. So the day, like, inmates come in at 9 o'clock. We have like a little community room. They've just got their medication before they come in. Talking about classroom settings. This is what we're going to play for the sport. It's going to be volleyball or basketball. We're going to go outside and do something, whatever. But I was lost when I walked in the facility, that activity area, and the security guard was this old lady. I'm not being rude, but it was an old lady. So we get in the office after we do this little tour, and I turn to the person that's kind of showing me around, and like, she was a little bit older than me, and I said, hey, you know, like, if something happens in here, what the fuck is she gonna do? And she goes, oh, nothing. They just locked the doors. I said, what? She goes, yeah, they lock the doors and they wait for the, I guess, the SWAT team to come in. And I was like, does she have any defense mechanisms? The security guards in there aren't allowed to carry weapons just in case they get turned around and used on them. So they have these little beeper things that have a pin in them. The pin comes out, just makes noise. I was like, no, we're not. No, I don't like that. So I made a point. I made an escape plan from that day on. I found the doors that went out to the playground, and I always knew where they were at. I knew I could outrun anybody to get to those, because if shit popped off, I was going to get out and I'm going to run circles around that whole playground because it's huge. Nobody's going to catch me. So it's not like they have guns and they're going to shoot me down. But I'm not standing there and fighting, you know. Crazy experience. But yeah, there was, based on the inmates that I dealt with, you know, a lot of them are just, you know, people that got caught up in some bad shit. You know, what was real interesting was, like I said, it was like 9 to 11 was the medicated, like 40 population that came in. And they had grades for them. I can't remember what they're called. But then from like 11 to 12 came in literally 12 guys. Those were the max guys. They weren't on medication. And then they were dudes that could hoop, they could play volleyball, and they loved to lift weights. Like, that's not just a stereotype. Like, they loved to lift weights, and they were massive. And again, I'm looking over at the security guard, and it wasn't always her. Every once in a while, we'd have this dude that came back. He was a Marine. And every day I walked in and I saw this dude. I forgot his name. I was like, all right, shit. All right, today's going to be a good day. We're going to be all right.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going to get some
Back
dudes
up.
before they get me. Yeah. When I came in, it was fucking Lois. I was like, oh, shit. Today's going to be a wild day. Yeah, I was activity therapist. Basically a glorified PE teacher.
I understand that feeling, man. When I worked at the San Quentin prison in San Diego in 2019, same thing. We were putting a grease duck in. I've told the story before, but we're putting a grease duck in. Me and this guy, Josh, sheet metal guy, and they brief us that we drive our truck to the gate. They check underneath the truck. They check our pockets. They check our shirts. And then they let us in. And then once we get inside, they're like, you're on your own. You know, if stuff pops off, you got to fend yourself in whatever way possible. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? And like, and then they gave us a security guard, and this guy's like 72, scrawny dude. And I'm talking inmates, bro. Just inmates. Like I said, I'm going to do a podcast on one of them, the Toolbox Killer. When I tell you guys that podcast, I'll give you a taste of it. I'll give you a taste of it right now. These two guys, Lawrence Whitaker and another guy. I can't remember his name, but I met Lawrence Whitaker. They were in Redondo Beach. They had this truck or this van called the Murder Mac, and dude, these poor innocent little girls. I'll just tell the lead up. They drove the PCH highway and picked up at least 60 girls, just practicing. Hey, how are we gonna do this? And they didn't kill any of those girls, but then they found a fire road up in the hills of LA. I believe it's I forget what the hills are, but anyways, I have it all written down. But they would take these girls, so they picked up two sisters from a bus stop, 13 and 15, and they took them up into this hill where they broke the lock. It was a fire hill. Anyways, they broke the lock, replaced it with theirs, took them up there, and they would, I won't tell you what they did to torture them until I do the podcast, but they would film the torturing, like record it. And when they were done raping them and stuff, they would put what is it called? A hanger. They put a hanger around their neck and get pliers and twist it until it was the size of a silver dollar. That was one way they killed. Anyways, they did a lot of killing, and I'm sitting there, and this guy is mopping right in front of me. I don't know, just a trip. I went home and looked it up, and I was just like, I don't want to work in this prison anymore. I worked my ass off to get that thing done, dude. I got it done in 3 days. It should have taken like a week and a half. I fucking worked. That's one way to make a guy work. Make him work in a prison.
Yeah. No shit. No shit. It's wild stuff, man.
Yeah, this world's full of crazy monsters, dude. I tell my wife all the time, like when I get home and I open the door and it's unlocked, I'm like, "You're dead." I'm like, lock the door. You know what I mean? Like
especially out there.
It takes one time. So women listening, lock your freaking door. Like it ain't worth it. It takes one time. One time that monster gets in, you're fucked. But yeah.
Yeah, another story about that I forgot. I just remembered. There was a couple girls that were activity therapists as well. And, when we play these sports during their recess time, if you will, they got pretty choppy. And I don't know, something happened, but you call it a rumor mill, if you will. But there was supposedly a hit put out on one of my coworkers. So those guys weren't allowed to come for like 2 or 3 days. So back to every day during that period of time, I'm just walking in, looking at the security guard like, all right, who do we got today? Yeah, it was a wild environment, man. And I wasn't even a fucking guard. I was a PE teacher.
That's cool though. I'm sure the homies like that you played ball with actually respected you because you're just a little white boy kicking ass.
Oh, that's just it. Yeah, in my dress shoes and slacks, I was still hooping them.
Oh yeah.
A lot of them, I would go home and tell mom and dad because that's when I was still living with them. I was like, some of these guys I could bring home with, for dinner. Sit down and have a conversation. Some of them just made mistakes and got caught up and did some horrific shit. But obviously, they've been there a while to think about it, and whether they were rehabilitated or not, I don't know. But they were always cordial to me. I don't know. I didn't press the issue. Trust me. I left it. We're just gonna play some sports. I'm gonna teach you some shit, which I don't know what the fuck I was teaching them. I guess in this classroom. I'm supposed to give like a lesson plan. I can't give a fucking lesson plan to inmates. What am I supposed to teach them? So the only thing I ever did, Drew, you remember the question I used to pose to you and you already fucking knew the answer to it? The farmer.
The sheep, the wolf in the hay.
The bale hay, yeah.
Yeah. Hey Josh, do you know that one?
I'm not familiar with it, I don't think.
All right. So there's a farmer, and he's got a pile of hay, and he's got a sheep. You know, the pile of hay for the sheep.
He's got a bale of hay, called a bale. Let's get it right.
Okay, bale of hay. He's got a sheep, and he's got a wolf, right?
Yeah.
And he's got a river he's got to cross. But in his canoe, he can only fit him and one item, like either the wolf, bale of hay, or the sheep. If he takes the sheep,
No.
Dusty, you explain it.
If he takes the bale of hay first, the wolf will eat the sheep. If he takes the wolf, the sheep will eat the bale of hay. How does he get all three items across the river without one eating the other?
Huh.
One of the greatest trivias that's ever been posed to me. And I learned it in the 5th grade.
You want me to tell you what it is? Josh, you want me to tell you how it's done?
Yeah, I'm not coming up with anything. So.
Drawing a blank? All right, well, so I believe he takes the sheep across the river, drops off the sheep. Then he goes back, grabs the wolf, takes him across, sets down the wolf, picks up the sheep, puts him back in the boat, takes him back to the other side where the hay's at, drops off the sheep, grabs the hay, brings the hay back to where the wolf's at, and then he goes back, gets the sheep, and brings all three are back, and they're all together. It's kind of a play on, it's a tricky one. You don't really tell them you can drop it off and then bring it back. So that's the whole thing behind it. I got one for you, Dustin. I got one for you guys.
Hold on. Do you know why that's so good, though? Why I've remembered that my whole life since the 5th grade?
There's a million ways to skin a cat.
Because initially, humans are conditioned to set their own parameters on what they're capable of achieving. In the questioning, it's never stated how many trips you have to take. You hear the number of the items and the consequences if you choose the wrong selection in the order, and you just assume there's no way to do it. But it's kind of the mindset of thinking out of the box. It's in people's own way of doing it. They set their own parameters. Like they set their own limit on how many trips are made. You hear there's 3 items, you think there's 3 trips. That's not it. I think that thing carries on like throughout life in general. Like that's why I love it so much. But anyway, I'll hear yours.
No, it is a great little
that's
riddle.
Awesome.
Okay, so there's 30 cows in the field, 28 chickens. How many didn't? Do you know this one, Dusty?
Say it again. You said there's 30 cows in the field, 28 chickens.
There are 30 cows in the field, 28 chickens. How many didn't?
Yeah, I know that.
Josh, do you know that one?
Well, I thought I did initially, but now I'm double thinking it.
This one's stupid. There's 30 cows. It's a play on words, dude. Yeah, good job, though.
There's 28 job. Chickens, yeah.
Yeah, 28, nom 8 chickens instead of the number 28 chickens. How many didn't? That one's a stupid one, but hey. It gets everyone. If you say it at the Thanksgiving table, I guarantee you'll get the whole loot of them if they haven't heard it. Dude, I saw this video today. Matt Long sent it to me. It's super interesting. I'm gonna play it just so you guys can hear it. It's about a guy who made the water vehicle. Here, let me explain it real quick. So this guy Myers, he in 1998 he basically invented something to run off water, like an engine to run off water, and he had it patented. So here, I'll just let you listen.
So this started a multiple-year process where he was going back and forth with the U.S. Pentagon, and they were trying to partner up on this to where he could be the one heading the project of bringing this to the U.S. military. What happened was in 1998, he went to a restaurant with his brother to put this deal in ink with the representatives of the U.S. Pentagon. Little did Stan know this would be the last day that he would ever be seen alive.
People ask me, do I fear my life? I have learned the power of angels, and I've been protected in trying to bring this technology in.
The way this meeting ended was he ran out of the restaurant in a panic, and his brother chased him out of the restaurant asking Stan, "What's wrong? What's wrong?"
He took a sip of cranberry juice, bolted out the door, dropped to his knees, and vomited violently. They poisoned me. That was his dying declaration. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Shortly after he died on that day, the U.S. government went into his garage, took his dune buggy, took his hydrogen fuel cell, and ever since then, it has never been seen again. And most people today are probably never aware that there was ever an engine that could ever run off of water. Now, this reminds me of Tesla's story. Back in the day, Tesla wanted to create a way to bring free energy to the world, and he was going to do it using his Tesla Tower, which, due to politics and funds being pulled away from the project, his Tesla Tower failed in the early 1900s. Right after his death, the U.S. government, they went in, they confiscated all of his research, never to be seen by the public eyes again.
It's pretty cool how people have come up with ways to like make engines run on water. You know what I mean? Hydro, whatever the hell. But
Hydrogen.
it's also super dangerous. Like if you're gonna invent that, you're gonna get a hit on your ass. I was listening to Joe Rogan and a couple of other guys that I guess this group has kind of connected with Mazda to come up with their own hydrogen vehicle, but they're not finished. And when they finish, they're going to mass produce, and then they're going to come out with it onto the market. They want to have a mass production because they don't want people getting killed. Isn't that cool though? But that's a crazy story. This guy, like in 1998, he was working with the government, showed him his patents, and showed him the car that he used. And then him and his brother went to a meeting at IHOP with like 4 guys, took a sip of his cranberry juice, ran out of the IHOP, instantly started vomiting. His last words to his brother was, "They poisoned me." And yeah.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
I've heard a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff like that.
Not to take anything away from the victims of the Buffalo shooting that happened like a year and a half ago, but one of the victims was this African American gentleman who had done the same thing. He was on the news 2 weeks prior, the local news, saying how he had his patents good to go for his hydro car, all this stuff, and he was one of the victims in that shooting, which is very coincidental. But yeah, it's just every time I get sent a video like that, I'm just like, fuck. Like, I'm glad I'm dumb.
Have you heard of the George Wiseman? He was on Tinfoil Hat talking about his Brown's gas machine. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's. He thinks.
What is it?
It's called a Brown's gas machine that he made. It's the hydrogen. Basically, like how he was breaking it down is that our bodies can get hydrogen naturally, like through our food, but they've screwed up like through antibiotics, which is a good thing for infections and all that, but it kills the basically bacteria in your stomach that the last process that turns the food into hydrogen, which your bodies need. And so he's saying everybody's extremely hydrogen depleted. And like his story is fascinating, but he's invented all kinds of things. Basically, he says you don't want to get patents on things.
Nope. He gives it out to the public.
Yeah.
Oh, right away.
He says, this is it. Take it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart.
If you haven't listened to that podcast yet, Drew, you need to check that out.
I think
I've
I
heard him
kind
on
of
several
remember it.
podcasts. He's pretty awesome, dude.
Is this a recent podcast Temple had?
It's probably been a month.
Yeah.
All right, I'll look into it. If one of you guys could find it and send it to me, that'd be great. But
Yeah.
I think I kind of remember it because didn't he say that he has an oxyacetylene tank in his garage, but he never uses it? He uses the brown gas to burn because it burns better.
Well,
or
the
something?
hydrogen torch. That's how he started out. He was making hydrogen torches that I guess cut at way better, and the tips don't get hot on them like a conventional torch, acetylene torch. He said you can put your fingers right on the torch or run your hand
I did
through
listen
the
to
flame
that.
and it won't burn you. But
I did listen to that
It
one.
was really good. It was really good. And the guy, just listening to him, not knowing him obviously personally. He
said he knows.
He sounds genuine as shit.
He knows for a fact that they have patents that you could get. He said up to 1,000 miles a gallon on fuel.
Yep.
Wow.
He created one himself that would get like an old Ford pickup that would get like 80 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
When he was like in high school. He said he did it on accident, but so that's how he started out, was making like fuel savers, and that would like double your fuel mileage just by doing a small change to your carburetor back when they were all carbureted vehicles.
That's dope.
Pretty fascinating.
I love that kind of stuff.
But he said, with that fuel saver, like he was shipping it out and his packages weren't getting delivered. So then he started putting insurance on them, and they still won't get delivered until the last day to where they had to refund them. And then they would get delivered after he had sent out another package. He said they basically bankrupted his company because they kept doing that to him.
Yeah, he had little packs that you could do yourself on your vehicle, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's okay. What's his name? Do you guys
George
remember?
Wiseman.
George Wiseman. I'm gonna look him up. Anybody listening, look that dude up. I wonder if you could buy him still.
Eagles Research is his website, I think.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can get him on.
You can buy those brown gas things.
Yeah, I really want to get one.
I know. I looked into it after that. They're pretty pricey, but it sounds like they can cure a lot of shit. Of course, you can't talk to a doctor or anything about it. It's all woo-woo pseudoscience.
He's saying like one of the last things your body heals is like your skin and everything. And he said like all his scars are gone and stuff now. Like it heals your scars. Like one of the last things that will start healing.
Yeah.
So we're all missing a bunch of hydrogen.
Yeah, his treatments a day are like hours long. He's dedicated a lot of his life to this shit. But it's paid dividends.
Dang, I'm gonna look into this guy more. I wonder if he'll come on. And yeah, I really do. I'll try to figure that out.
I've heard him on like probably 3 or 4 different podcasts, so I bet he would.
No, yeah, that's the thing about these podcasts. If you just reach out to people, they'll come on. We're gonna break down the Illuminati stuff next week with New York Patriot. He's good to go. I should put a link into his. Did you guys listen to that podcast I sent you?
Yeah, I listened to it for about an hour or so.
I thought those guys were good. I thought they
Yeah.
did real well.
I just
They're
don't know
just-
anything about it.
They're
Yeah, it
what,
seems like
Josh?
he knows his. He knows his stuff. He just put me to sleep. I
No,
was listening
yeah,
to it when
he's
I was going to bed, and he put me to sleep. So that worked, I guess.
well. The thing about him is, you can look too far into symbols. If you ask me, you could like for instance, if there's a video of Trump dancing with his daughter at her wedding, and there's squares in the background, and you stop it, and you're like, look, this looks like the pyramid of whatever, the satanic ritual pyramid. Like, I feel like you can look too far into things. But he's looked far. Let me just say that. And I'm genuinely curious of like symbols like the triangle, the all-seeing eye on the dollar, what things mean in the history of man. Like, how far back have these symbols gone, and like, what do they mean, and what rituals have they done in the past with the symbols that are being brought up now by celebrities and what's that meeting that the government has in the woods? And people are going to listen to this and think I'm crazy, but it really has happened. Alex Jones went to one.
Oh, right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I'll think of it.
The Bohemian Grove.
Yep.
Yes.
He actually got
Bohemian
footage of that
Grove.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bohemian Grove.
And
And
don't
what
they like
what
have
they do there? They burn the effigy of a small child in their ceremony. They're all dressed up in cloaks and shit, and it's the world's
what's an effigy, or what you just said?
effigy. It's like just call it like a stick figure. You know, something that
Okay.
resembles
Like
the
Burning
shape
Man.
and size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's something to do with an owl as well.
Moloch.
Yeah, the god of Moat.
Moloch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moloch. Well, there's just some weird stuff. That's why I'm going to get him on to basically, I'm just going to have him in a kindergarten way break it down for me and the listeners, like what
In layman's terms.
what can we see in layman's term, what can we see in Hollywood to where we could be like, oh, that's what that is. And what every freaking Hollywood person has the triangle pictures, the whatever, the freaking 666 eye, all that kind of stuff. And I just want him to break down those little things so that way these, everyday people like you, me, Josh, who work and we just, go about our day. Like, it's good to see this kind of stuff on like albums and just know, hey, I don't know, there's just some weird dark stuff here. It's not, I do believe you can sell your soul, and I do believe that is being done in a lot of cases to gain fame, riches, and fortunes. Kind of like that movie 300 back in the day. You remember that hunchback dude?
Yeah.
He sells himself to the freaking Persian god or whatever, and all of a sudden he's got all these chicks. And yeah, it's the same thing. I really feel as if you seek that darkness, you'll find it. And you probably will gain the world, but you'll lose your soul. So I'll have Patriot on to talk about that kind of stuff.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be cool.
Yeah, Andrew, like
and then,
you were saying, people can take it way too far, but there's no denying that they love their dates and their symbols, and they love to shove it in your face.
oh, dude, remember COVID? 33 new cases. 33. There's just a whole bunch of, I don't know why they would promote 33 so much. Supposedly it's I don't know, it has to do with something like kind of like
The
a calling card
Freemasons.
for the Freemasons, yeah. And
It's
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And look at what they've done though to society. They shut down small businesses. They're trying to bring in this new transhumanism, World Economic Forum stuff. They're doing a good job, if you ask me. MK Ultra, I feel like, is the news. I haven't watched the news in years, probably 8-10 years.
It is comical.
Can you imagine playing? Yeah. I haven't. Every now and then, I mean, during the election, I would turn it on just to see what's going on, and that's about it. But I would be terrified though if I believed the news.
I was thinking about it, though, like some of these news bits that you get, like on Shorts or whatever, on TikTok, wherever people get, like what some of these anchors are saying, right? It's just a bunch of bullshit. They don't even believe it.
Yeah, of course.
So I fantasize the opportunity to like catch them off camera, one-on-one, and just be like, why? Why are you doing it? Like, you already have enough money, I would assume. You've already sold your soul enough to the point where you can sustain, your life and your family's life and your kids' kids and their kids' life. What is the joy in that? And that's where you really get to a point where I think they do it because that's why they love it. They love that joy of manipulating people. And I'm just saying, certain articles, certain news bits, where we all know it's fucking horseshit. Like
Yeah.
Fauci retired recently. Did you guys
Oh
hear that?
yeah.
And it comes out and he's still saying.
In his last statement.
Like,
very last statement. Highest paid official in government. Highest paid, higher than the president, for 35, 40 years. And his retiring words were, people, for the love of God, or whatever he said, go out and get your COVID-19
get your
shot.
updated COVID. Come on.
Meanwhile, the reason he's retiring now is they're about to release the records of his funding or the funds he's received from Pfizer. So of course, man, it's like me selling cars. I'm leaving. Go buy yourself a Honda, boys. Everybody get a Honda. I'm gonna line my pockets. You know what I mean? All he's doing is sales pitch. Yeah.
You get a Honda. You get a Honda.
yeah, you get a Honda.
But I mean, honestly.
I'm gonna grab a beer.
Back to the moon landing. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Josh, back to the moon landing. All that shit. Like, people are gonna believe what they want to believe. It boggles my fucking brain. It really does.
Well, it's back to your canoe and the wolf, the sheep.
And
people are programmed to think a certain way. And it's hard to feel like you've been lied to or whatever. To accept that.
Yeah,
some people don't want to, I don't think.
I think you're right. And I think that's what even hurts my brain even more. It's like we've just been so conditioned to this freedom that we don't know which direction to go. We honestly don't. It sucks.
There's times that I wish I could go back and take the blue pill, but then I'm like, no way.
Oh yeah, I know. There's times I tell my buddies, like, man, I wish I could put my head back in the sand. I do. It seems like life would be so much easier because you don't think about stuff like this. But throughout the course of what our history is, it's people that think like we do, in a sense, that change the direction. Not that we have any impulse on, the fluidity of, what direction this entire culture is going to go, but the fact that people still just in separate parts of this country and this world can know it's horse shit, and they all know it, and then that gives me hope. The fact that you're not
there's a great awakening happening. I mean, look at all the independent news sources now. Even my podcast is a form of that. Like, I bring on Lane, I bring on James, who understands Marxism. I bring on you guys who understand, the bullshit that you can be fed. Like, I'm just trying to bring people together who who have their own research. Everybody can be a researcher. Everybody's got one of these smartphones. Everybody can do it. It's just up to them to do it. You don't have to. Where's the news getting their news from? From people. You feel me? People on the ground, people whatever. So there's people there who saw this. Okay, I'm going to research those people. Oh, they said they saw this, and this. Okay, well, that's crazy. Okay, I'll keep going and keep researching. That's what
it's getting harder to do any research with the censorship and.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a task.
Well, they say even like with Google, like if you put in a search, it says like 10,000 results, but if you actually scroll down, it just keeps feeding you the same ones over and over.
Never use Google, dude. Never use Google ever for your research. DuckDuckGo is good.
Well, they say DuckDuckGo is not even that good anymore, but.
Well, I use Twitter. Like Lane's taught me that. Lane's taught me. Honestly, the best thing is if you hear something happening, you get on Twitter, you type it in, and you'll have people on the ground, boots on the ground, and you kind of like with this China stuff. I found all that on Twitter, and that's from today. This NBA player was really pushing it, and then sure enough, it was a big topic. I mean, we're super hypocritical, like James Scott says. You know, the Germans killed 4 million Jews, and yet. Communism kills hundreds of millions, but just because you don't have that scary logo to it, and you know it's not whatever, dude. 4 million people, 100 million people, it's all terrible. And like for us to like act like racism exists, and yet in America, get the fuck out of here. And then you got this shit going on in China. That's the real issue, people. Your Nike shoes that you wear, and I feel bad because I love Air Force Ones, and I was following up videos of that stuff, and it's like it showed all these people in a freaking sweatshop, young kids laying on the ground sleeping in a jacket, all this cotton around, and it's like, and that NBA player is the one who posted it, and he said, you know, this is where you get your shoes, boys. This is who are making your shoes to play basketball with.
Yep. Is it Ian Cantor?
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I knew I'd fucking remember that name.
I respect him a lot.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, we're conditioned to that, you know? We're conditioned to enjoy the pleasures of what this freedom is, you know? And
yeah,
most people just go about their day. You know, we talked about this before, and not think any less or any more of what they indulge in and what they use. And there's no fault to that, I don't think.
I think
it's just when it starts to impede into different perspectives of people that see it differently. Like when it starts taking away what our civil liberties are, then we got a problem. Like, you know, use your iPhone, wear your Nike shoes. Okay, but then you start telling me to put a mask on and get this jab or I lose my job. Nah, you can go fuck yourself right off, because then we're going to have a different conversation. We're going to sit down at the kiddie table and we're going to start from square one. And then we're going to open up the whole book. And then we can get into it. But
I mean,
yeah,
Andrew, go ahead.
Andrew and I were talking the other day about like the union and how it's been really great for him. And I was just saying, well, like the same way for me, like going to Walmart is not good for anybody around my local area or anything. But that's kind of, we're in a prison to have to shop at Walmart because it's cheaper to be able to survive. And
you got mouths to feed, you know, you got little feet on the ground, you know, you got to take care of your business. I get it. But it's when you start impeding in those civil liberties, it's a different conversation. It's one that you really don't want to have because the nitty gritty comes out pretty quick. And it's not comfortable. It's not, because then you start seeing it for what it's really worth. You know, one of the greatest things that I've ever heard was, I don't remember who said it. It's like, until you start seeing the world for what it really is and not how you want it, it's just going to be another day. That's all it is. It's going to be another day. The world is not what you think it is. In all facets, like the moon landing, whatever. COVID jabs, whatever. Whatever narrative that you're on, you almost have to guess it's not the right one. I mean, even us. They come out and show us footage, actual footage. Now, if someone land on the moon, I'll change my mind.
Same.
I'm just pressing the envelope. Hey, let's get some more. Just prove it.
Same.
Just
20 years from now, nobody died from the shot. I was wrong. I guess I could take it. Like, I'm just saying, right now I don't know. And right now I don't know if we land on the moon. But if you prove me wrong, you prove me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's opinions.
But there's just no effort to do that now. There's no effort to adhere to the data that's actually coming out, across the world of what's taking place. The excess mortality rate climbing in certain countries that pushed the vaccinations. Like, everybody ignores that. No, that's just whatever. Well, there's numbers.
Would you want to look into it if you got the shot? I don't think I would. I didn't get it, so it's easy for me to watch the videos. It's easier for me to see it and be like, dang, that's not a coincidence. It just started happening in 2021. And so, yeah, I mean, all signs point, like they're saying young kids are getting heart attacks now. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about? When did that start happening? Oh, it's climate. It's emissions in the air. Okay. Like, I don't. That is something I'll never get on board. Is this whole climate change? I'll never get on board. They've been saying it for 50 years, boys. 50, 60 years. Every 10 years, it's a different thing. Miami's underwater. Acid rain's gonna ruin the crops. It just continues and continues. And I'm telling you right now, the world is not overpopulated. It is underpopulated. We need more people for the next generations to sustain a society that's going to run in order to take care of us, aka hospitals, aka food, all that kind of stuff. So people are fucking retarded when they follow the narrative that it used to be global warming. Now it's what is it? Climate change. Yeah, that stuff is retarded. And
that's going to be the next deal they push, I bet.
They already are in California.
They already are, but it's going to be. It's going to get worse as far as
it's going to
social rating,
tax per mile,
social score. Yeah.
That's why I plan on moving back to Kansas. That's why I plan on, like, I'm making a plan right now. I went back, got some more property on the land. I plan on having chicken coops. I plan on having my own garden. I plan on canning. I plan on doing stuff to where I'm just like, fuck these motherfuckers. I want to be as self-sustaining as I possibly can. And I understand power is different, toilets are different, stuff like that. But I can dig a well. I can do that. I can get my own water. I don't know. It's just, I feel like, maybe the alternative right now is not to press on in the city. Dusty, I know you live in the city, but you also live on the outskirts. You live in a good area. But and you have a decent sized yard. You could actually have a garden back there. I feel like people need to get to their roots of who they are. And because we rely too much on society, like Corey Newhold and I were talking about, we outsource everything. And I feel like what I'm learning from all of this is stop outsourcing stuff. Like, get back to your roots of pilgrim mindset of, winter's coming. We need to jar some food. We need to whatever. And I'm not doing it in the sense of like the end of the world. I'm doing it in the sense of I want to pass that on to my kids. I'm tired of being, outsourced from everything, especially in SoCal. Everything's outsourced, but and all cities are. And if shit ever hit the fan, the cities are fucked. And I guarantee that farmer is sipping on coffee that he grounded, and he's plucking corn, milking his cow. He's doing just fine.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
Yeah. Not saying it's going to come down to that, but I can definitely tell you they want to control that. But Lane makes a good point. I have friends that are freaking out about the World Economic Forum, and I was as well. Don't get it twisted. I'm like, do you people not see this? They're the ones behind it all. Whether it was planned or not, they're behind it. right now. And it's like Lane said, there's a lot of nationalism in China, a lot of nationalism in Russia. Right now in America, nationalism is kind of breaking down, but I do believe we can save that. But I don't know if the WEF is going to work. I was telling a friend who really believes in it. I don't think it's sustainable, dude. I don't think. Who appointed these people, by the way? Who appointed Klaus Schwab to make these decisions? Who was voting for him? Nobody. These people have been appointed by nobody, and yet they're telling us how the world's gonna work by 2030. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking old decrepit piece of shit. Yeah. I have utter hate for Klaus Schwab and you all know Harari and all those fucking assholes. And they're old men, and the day they die, it's a holiday for me.
I don't think it's just utter hate for those individuals. I think it's every person that puts himself on a plateau where they think less of simple-minded people. Like, that's not how the world's supposed to work. It's nobody elected them, Drew. That's the thing.
Nobody.
Is the number of people that, in comparison, that are trying to push this to those that know about it and those that don't have any clue. It's all in the same basket. And that weight of that scale teeters in favor of, quote unquote, the smellies, the minority, if you will. It's just we have conditioned ourselves to look at, people that are on TV a lot or have a lot of money.
Suits.
Yeah, suits, pencil pushers.
Appeal to authority.
Exactly. We're rule followers, man. All of us. We have conditions we set with ourselves, but peel the onion back a little bit. Where do you get that from? It's generational knowledge. You follow rules for a reason. And it's just they've taken that control, they've taken that power, and they just tighten that noose just a little bit more, and they keep tightening it. And COVID was an opportunity for them to really fucking take grain of that and pull it real tight. And some people listen, some people can see it, and some can't. So,
well, in my opinion, it starts out in the school system, and you're just, from a very young age, you're just trained to, yeah, it's good to have respect for your elders and your authorities, but it's also okay to think for yourself.
Yep.
Like, just
what school systems though,
it's
Josh?
Amazing. Huh?
I don't think small towns have bad schools.
It creeps into here too, just as bad as anywhere else. It just takes longer.
No. I totally disagree with you on that. I've seen the schools out here, and I've seen the fences around it that look like a prison, all that stuff.
I'm saying it takes longer.
It might. I still believe in some schools.
Things that we're doing here now, they were doing in California 20 years ago or whatever that they thought was ridiculous then. It takes longer to get here, but it trickles down.
Just like the music when it comes out.
Okay.
Songs come out and we're like, oh, this fucking song is legit. And you're like, yeah, we heard that shit 2 months ago. And you're like, you did? We just got it.
Okay.
Bomb,
you guys remember the song? Fire. You guys remember Hey Macarena? Hey Macarena. Right.
Yeah.
That's about an orgy. I don't know if you guys know that, but listen to it. It's about an orgy. One thing I have noticed about schools in general, I plan on going back to Kansas and either being a welding instructor or opening up my own school. I don't know. Or plan B, plan C, I'll become a shop teacher, for a high school. I'll teach them how to weld. I'll teach them how to do woodwork, all that stuff. One thing they don't have in California anymore is shop class, woods, metal. And that is a shame. That's a fucking shame. I make $110,000 a year being a welder. You could bust your ass learning, I don't know, gender studies, and you won't make $40,000 a year out here. Like, it's a shame that and I think it is planned, Josh, like you said. I will piggyback off you. I feel like it is planned to dumb us down and make us less productive, or give us the opportunity to make money for our families. I don't know why they shut down those schools out here, because we need so many welders. Bro, I have so much say at work. I feel like a boss every time I walk into work, because I'm one out of 2 guys or one out of 100 guys that have a certification to do this process. So it's like, what I say goes, you know what I mean? And we don't have enough welders. And you're talking about union and non-union. If you're a non-union welder, like I was making $30 an hour. Guess what? I joined the union. I make 54 now. I gave myself a $24 raise joining the union. So if you're a welder, fuck the non-union. Join the union. That's my position on it. You get paid what you're worth, and you actually get to have a say. But guess what? They're not teaching these kids that stuff. They're teaching them about fucking critical race theory. They're dumbing them down. And that, I will agree with you, Josh.
Yeah, what I was just saying is they're teaching them not how to think, but what to think. Like, do I want somebody coming to me for medical advice? No, I'm not a doctor. But it's okay to question your doctor. It's okay to do your own research on other stuff, or talk to other people that have been looking into stuff that don't have the title of a doctor, but they've been studying this stuff for years, just because they don't have the title or whatever. That's what I was saying.
So wait, hold on, Josh. So you're telling me you don't have my double cheeseburger with fries and my Krispy Kreme donut?
No, but I got your pharmaceuticals.
You motherfucker. I needed my goddamn double cheeseburger and french fry with my Krispy Kreme donut because you told me I needed to get the fucking shot. That just ruined the podcast. I got to go after that. I can't listen to that anymore. That just ruined me. I thought you fucking understood what science was.
All I'm saying is don't change your diet to help with your heart or anything.
No, don't go
just take
work
this
out.
medicine, Dusty, and you'll be just fine.
So don't eat 6 Krispy Kremes. Don't do that.
No, do and just take your high blood pressure.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
To an actual expert.
Don't you love those commercials where it's like people walking through the meadow of a beautiful flowers,
they're just dancing.
And it's just let Zioclan heal your life and all this stuff, and then it's like side effects include vomiting, blowout of the asshole, and also possible heart attack with kidney failure, along with heart attacks.
But you know how many people
possible myocarditis. And yet there's
people sitting there watching that
in the background.
They're like, God damn, do I need Zioclan? Do I have shaky leg syndrome? Do I have lumps coming out of my neck? Shit, I need to get that shit. What's the number there? And then now we got the TV. You can go ahead and rewind it.
Oh, yeah.
Get that 1-800 real quick. God.
I think
that's a good point, that when you watch the news, that's mainly what's on there is pharmaceutical advertising.
90%.
So who do you think's telling them what to do, what to say?
Ooh.
Just a thought.
Big pharma, baby. I'm gonna have to edit so much of this shit if I put it on YouTube.
The sad part is, if you don't put it on YouTube, I'm not gonna see any of the videos you play.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. I mean, I got time. I'll put this out on the podcast stream so people can listen to it. But when it comes to the video, it's probably gonna be like 2 or 3 days. I'm gonna have to go through it, which is okay. I'd rather just keep it real and just let me put doorbell sounds on all the on all the truth. But
there you go.
Make it like the bunker.
Yeah. Here.
This is all hypothetical.
This is all hypothetical, people. This is just make believe land that we're in right now. Okay, YouTube, just make believe land. That's all we're in right now. how he puts on his shade. I love Jim Brewer, man. That guy's awesome. Just a great guy.
Yeah, he's grown on me big time.
Yeah, his latest ones have been a little bit, but I mean, in the podcast world, it's hard to keep people's ears entertained. But
Yeah.
it's all about the
being
guests.
said, Drew, I gotta say it. You got some guests out there that are kind of a little cold feet. Got some good topics you want to talk about.
What are you talking about?
What was it? Is it the Murr podcast you've been trying?
Oh yeah, Derek and Vanessa.
Yeah,
I don't know if
just
I
get
don't know if
on
you're
here.
listening, but dude,
Just get on here.
I studied that murder. First of all, people who listen to murder podcasts. I know I'm one of them. After I don't know if you've ever listened to one and you're just like, I can't keep listening. That's a little too much.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea.
It is not my cup of tea to study this stuff, to study murders. They're the highest. It goes, Joe Rogan is the highest viewed podcaster. Right underneath it is Sword and Scale, My Favorite Murder, Morbid. Murder sells, man. That stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of funny and ironic that people are like, you're selling disinformation that's hurting the people. Meanwhile, this girl's like, and they rip their nipples off and then shove them inside of a closet and then they put them through a meat grinder.
Was that a tranny podcast or what?
Yeah.
No.
Got a lot deeper.
Oh, my bad. Well, basically, these people describe the gnarliest murders, and they don't get dinged at all for it. If that was my wife or my family that they're talking about, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, I don't want you telling what they like. I just let her rest in peace. Like, there's a big part of me that's like, these aren't good, but whatever.
Just get on here. Get on here and fucking tell your story. Tell them what you know.
I guess
people are hungry for that.
Yeah. We'll get Derek. We'll get Vanessa on.
I'm not trying to call them out. I'm just saying, hey, we all had cold feet doing this, from the jump. Drew has been kind enough to actually take the time and build this, platform for all of us. I mean, we're all shit diddles. We don't know shit from Shaula.
No.
It's just fun to get on here and conversate because, a lot of people relate to this. It's this shit they think about on a daily basis, I think. But, it's just dabble your toes in this fucking water. See what happens. You just never know.
Yeah.
Honestly, you just never know.
I had the shyest person in the world on for my very first episode, and he's on again today. Josh did not want to get on, man. Josh would rather just shoot the breeze and not press record, which I get, but man, it's his. You have, first of all, you're one of the funniest guys I know, and then your timing is impeccable. Am I right, Dusty? His timing is freaking solid. And then
this lag is screwing up my timing.
Exactly. But I know your wife, she had to watch her TV show. And sometimes that can lag things out. It sucks when that happens.
I just want to make sure you get me my double cheeseburger and French fry with my Krispy Kreme donut for dessert. That's all I need to know, Josh.
I'll have to drive to Hutch to do that because I ain't got
Come on down.
Me and Andrew tried.
Yeah, dude. We rolled over there 2 weeks ago, and we were literally by your house, and you were like,
"You were."
Well, I'm too busy today, boys.
We were getting ready.
We're at your Home Depot. I know. That's why I didn't give you crap.
I thought you guys were going to Inman.
We did.
We went.
Oh.
Yeah, we went to Inman, then we went to Home Depot, and then we went to. Dave had to get some Blue Moon, so we went somewhere else. I can't remember, but yeah. I won't get into it, but man, people got their theories about what was going to happen after the election, and I'll tell you what, man, there's a lot.
Standing strong.
Standing strong still.
Oh yeah.
Dang. Let's just say you and I are going to be rich as all get out, Dusty. Richie Rich. You ever seen that movie? Because that's the house you're going to have. You're going to have roller coasters in your backyard, supposedly.
Dusty, I still want to hear your testimony. I don't know if you want to get into it tonight. Maybe you should
where
just
we
do
at?
one alone with Andrew and do that one.
We're getting on time. My phone is.
About an hour. We're about an hour and 43. We can wrap it up.
Yeah, it's yeah, I'll tell you what, that testimony is something else.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah, let's just say I gave a little teaser to it. This might have to be because I'm like at 8% phone wise.
Okay.
Just a little teaser to it, live the sports story life of, you're going to be this or that, and you do everything by the book. Trials and tribulations, certain things come up. Life doesn't go the way you plan, so you turn against, religion and belief in general because you feel like you've been wronged, and you take a path that leads about 10 or 12 years. And I've tried to find ways to prove it that it didn't exist. And it was a journey, to say the least. And then the birth of my child brought me to my knees. Of course, there'll be more detail of that, but essentially, through all of it, the lens that I have now is I see the craziness that goes on if you're to parse it out on one side or the other, why one does and one doesn't believe. I see both sides of it. I can see why. And I think it comes down to personal strife.
Did I freeze up or did Dusty freeze up?
He did.
Oh,
Maybe his
dang.
phone died.
Maybe his phone did die. It might have died.
It still shows him on there.
Yeah, it shows him looking like he's about to sneeze.
Well, I haven't been able to see him the whole time. All I can see is you.
Well, I won't give away Dusty's testimony. I will give away one story, though. Cliffhanger, yeah. I will give away one story, though. When I first met Dusty, we were roommates at Hutch, Kansas. I was going to firefighting school, and we played poker one night, and I love him to death, and I believe in God, and I've always believed in God. I've understood that the church can be a little bit, sketchy for some people, but he hated the idea of God. And yeah, we just had battles back and forth of me believing and him not believing. And it was just probably 10 years of this. And yet we were best friends, still good friends. But he would always, when he drank, he would always bring it up. And it would always turn into the gnarliest arguments. And nothing against him. He was just searching. He was just searching and searching and searching. And he finally found his truth and his path. And his story is pretty crazy. And it's an awesome testimony. So I'll get him back on here. But like Josh said, we'll leave it with the cliffhanger. But Josh, since it is Thanksgiving, hold on. Dusty's calling me right now. Hold on. I feel like you left us with the cliffhanger, and that's okay.
Yeah, my phone died.
Your phone died?
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap up with Josh, and then I'll edit it and then put it on the podcast, and it should be up tomorrow. All right, say peace to everybody, though.
What's that?
Say peace to everybody. You left everybody without saying peace.
Peace, everybody. Sorry, I left you on a cliffhanger. My phone fucking died.
That's all right, dude. it's perfect. It's perfect. We're definitely.
I'll go in detail.
Yeah. No. We'll do this again, and we'll get you the right platform. Tell it. Love you, buddy. Have a good night. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Yeah, love you all. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving. Peace, bro.
Bye.
So, Josh, I asked my previous guest, since it is right before Thanksgiving, what are you thankful for, big dog?
Oh, it's probably just the normal things. Thankful for my family. Thankful for you, man. I'm glad you started this podcast because it got us back in touch. We hadn't really been talking.
I know.
And now we talk like at least twice a week. So
Easily.
I'm thankful for that. And yeah, I guess just all the normal stuff. Good health
Yeah,
so
man.
far.
Yeah, I'll be praying for your family that they all heal up. I hate seeing kids sick. It's the worst.
Yeah,
The worst.
It's the worst when you can't really do anything.
Exactly.
But it's part of life.
Yeah, it is. I'm always, I would wake up, ask my wife every day, are we going to take her to the doctor? We need to take her to the doctor today. And then she's like, no, just let her figure it out. And by the end of the day, we'd both be like, man, we should have taken her to the doctor. Like it was just all back and forth. And
Well, the thing that I've noticed, it's probably the same with you, but it always gets worse at night too.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So the day fools you, and then all of a sudden night comes around and
they'll
you
be
freaked
running
out.
around and everything, and acting like they're better, and then here it comes again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been through the whole hospital deal with 2 of the kids, so that ain't no fun.
Yeah. You told me your daughter had hand, foot, and mouth, or hand, whatever the heck James's kids had.
Well, that's not what going to the doctor for, but yeah,
Okay.
that was pretty. Yeah, both Xander and Elise had that last year, and then they followed that up with RSV right after that. So it was like a month of just no sleep and sickness. It was not fun.
No. Well, to piggyback, dude, I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful that the COVID narrative is over, so far. I know that sounds cheesy.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm thankful for a God that's bigger than all the evil of this world. I'm thankful for the freedom I have as an American, and the fact that we are not China, and I will do everything I can to keep whatever that takes. I don't know what that takes, but I feel like this is part of it, to keep America as free as it can be. I know it's not the greatest, way to live. I feel like there could be a better oasis of us living with a lot less government. But hopefully us as humans can figure it out and figure it out. But happy Thanksgiving to everybody listening. Be safe, travel safe. Josh, thanks for coming on. Dusty, when you're listening to this, thank you, bro. And you guys all have a good day. Have a blessed Thanksgiving. And rate the podcast. That'd be great. That helps me out. I'm just gonna keep doing this. Tell friends, tell whoever. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Peace.
Happy Thanksgiving.